Good morning everybody and welcome you all once again. In our previous video we were discussing about conservation of resources. Now in this video we are going to begin from Gandhian philosophy of resource conservation. So Gandhi ji used to say there is enough for everybody's need and not enough for anybody's greed. So what Gandhi ji means to say that nature had given us enough resources, but even though we feel acute scarcity of resource, according to Gandhi ji, why we feel this much acute scarcity of resource? Because most of the resources is being utilized by handful people and large number of people we are left with meager resource. So this is due to inequitable distribution of resource we feel this much scarcity of resource. So that's why Gandhi ji used to say there is enough for everybody's need but not enough for anybody's greed, because it is human nature that it wants more and more. It never satisfied. Whoever the resources, whatever the resources a person has, they want more and more resources. And that's why we feel scarcity of resources. So two things is being stated here by Gandhi ji. One, it is human nature that it never satisfied. It wants more, and that's why we feel scarcity of resources. And also, nature had given us enough, but due to inequitable distribution of resources, we feel this much scarcity of resource. So usually it is being asked in the examination that what Gandhi ji mean to say that there is enough for everybody's need and not enough for anybody's greed. What you are going to write? So Gandhi ji used to say there is enough for everybody's need and not enough for anybody's greed. What Gandhi ji means to say is nature had given us enough of resources, but even though we feel acute scarcity of resource, because it is human nature that it never satisfies. It is greed of human nature that it wants more and more. And also most of the resources is concentrated in the hand of few. And that's why due to this inequitable distribution of resources, we feel acute scarcity of resource. This thought of Gandhi ji was represented several times at several places. Similar kind of thought is being represented in 1974 in the book of Michael Schumacher, Small is Beautiful. So Michael Schumacher has written a book in 1974 in which similar kind of philosophy about resource conservation is being represented by Michael Schumacher in his book Small is Beautiful. Also in the Brundtland Commission report in 1987, similar kind of thought is being represented. Also in a book entitled Our Common Future. Actually after Brundtland Commission this book was published, Our Common Future, and in this book also such kind of Gandhian philosophy got wide recognition. Also at the Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992, also in the Club of Rome that advocate conservation for the first time in more systematic way in 1968, and in this Club of Rome also similar kind of philosophy related to conservation of resource is being represented. Similar kind of philosophy, when I am saying, what does it mean? It means that due to inequitable distribution of resources, there is acute scarcity of resources for so many people. Now we will begin land resource. So one of the vital resource we have, land resource. And first of all, one important question, first important question of land resource, it is what is the importance of land resource? So we already know land is a resource of utmost importance. So land is a natural resource of utmost importance. It supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, economic activities, transport and communication system. Generally this question is being asked, what is the importance of land resources? So what you are going to write, first point you will write, land is a natural resource of utmost importance, and you could derive several points, you could fragment several points from this line. Provide habitation to wildlife and microorganisms. It is vital for ecological balance and human life. It supports several kind of economic activities. It also support transport and communication system. So several point you could derive from this line, and one introductory point will be land is a natural resource of utmost importance. So India has a land under a variety of relief features, namely mountains, plateau, plains, island. Whatever land available to us, out of all those land that is available to us, 43% land belongs to plain. And what is the importance of plain? It provides facilities for agriculture and industry. 27% land belongs to mountain. So mountain is important as it ensures perennial flow of some rivers. We know that the perennial flow of river is ensured by mountain. Also hilly region is being utilized for tourism purpose also. So mountain support tourism, and mountain also is important for ecological balance. Now 30% area we have is of plateau, and plateau also is very important for minerals and fossil fuels. So plateau region always remain rich in minerals. Could you say why plateau region is rich in minerals, especially if we'll talk about our country? So we know that our plateau region is oldest landmass. Our plateau region is the oldest landmass, and we know that long geological period is needed for the formation of minerals. Several kind of minerals need long geological period in its formation. So actually if we will talk about mountains and plains, so these are the recent landform, but minerals need long geological period in its formation. And we know that our peninsular plateau is part of the Gondwana land. It is oldest landmass of the country, and that's why it is rich in minerals and fossil fuels. Also forest area is being supported by plateau region. So one important question that is generally being asked in the examination, so what is the importance of plateau region, what is the importance of plain region, what is the importance of mountain, and one broad question that explain the variety of relief features of India. Now on the basis of utilization of land, it is being classified into various categories. So there are various classification, but some important classification only we are going to read here. So one of the most important portion of this chapter, classification of land on the basis of land utilization. So there are various category of classification of land. One category is on the basis of utilization of land, and also on the basis of utilization of land it could be classified into various categories, but some important category we are going to read here. So on the basis of utilization of land, it could be classified into various categories. One, forest. Second, land not available for cultivation. Third, other uncultivated land. Fourth, fallow land. And fifth, net sown area. So on the basis of utilization of land, it could be classified into various categories such as forest, land not available for cultivation, other uncultivated land, fallow land, and net sown area. So now one, it is forest. We already know that nowadays 21.6% area of our country is forest area. Now what do you mean by forest? A forest is a large area of land dominated by trees, and you should know area wise, Madhya Pradesh has the largest forest cover in the country. If you will talk about total area, total forest area, then it is Madhya Pradesh. So if you will talk about percentage area of the land under forest, the highest is of Mizoram. 85.41% of the geographical area of Mizoram is forested area. So first it is forest. 2, land not available for cultivation. Land not available for cultivation. So why land could not be available for cultivation? Either it could be barren land or it could be wasteland. Land put to non-agriculture uses. So land not available for cultivation is subdivided into two parts. One is either barren land or wasteland, and land put to non-agriculture uses. Non-agriculture uses, that means the land that have building, road, factories. So it is included under land not available for cultivation. What do you mean by barren land or wasteland? So area that are damaged by waterlogging, gully erosion, salinity, alkalinity, sand dunes, wind erosion, or extreme moisture deficient. So these are causes also. If you will be asked what is the cause, why barren land or wasteland is created, so it is created due to waterlogging, gully erosion, salinity, alkalinity, sand dunes, wind erosion, extreme moisture deficiency. So all it is factor to create barren land or wasteland. You also could define this way: the land which cannot be used for cultivation is called barren land, or such as hilly terrain, desert, ravines, wasteland. So wasteland also is one of the example of barren land. What is difference between barren land and wasteland? So barren land, generally we used to say such land that is not fit for cultivation is called barren land. Such land that is not fit for cultivation is called barren land. But such land that is not fit for cultivation, and apart from cultivation it is not useful for other purposes also, then it is termed as wasteland. So sometimes barren land and wasteland both are utilized synonymous to each other. But if you will be asked what is difference between barren land and wasteland, so barren land मतलब बंजर भूमि, बंजर भूमि मतलब the land that is not fit for cultivation, and wasteland that means not fit for cultivation and also not fit for other purposes. So land not available for cultivation is subdivided into two parts, either barren land or wasteland, or land put to non-agriculture uses such as building roads, factories, etc. Now third is other uncultivated land. One is land not available for cultivation, but apart from that some other land also that is not cultivated. Why it is not cultivated? So either it could be utilized as permanent pasture and grazing land, or it could be under miscellaneous tree, crops, group झाड़ी. तो फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे ट्रेन से जाते हो तो जितने भी लैंड देखते हो किसी पर्पस के लिए उसको यूटिलाइज नहीं, मतलब कल्टीवेशन के लिए यूटिलाइज नहीं किया गया, ऐसे ही जंगल झाड़ झाड़ी वहाँ पे है, तो सच लैंड इज टर्म एज लैंड अंडर मिसलेनियस ट्री क्रॉप्स ग्रुप्स. तो इट कम्स अंडर अदर अनकल्टिवेटेड लैंड. ऑल्सो कल्चरेबल वेस्ट लैंड. कल्चरेबल वेस्ट लैंड, तो व्हाट डू मीन बाय कल्चरेबल वेस्ट लैंड? तो such land that had been left uncultivated for more than 5 agriculture year is called culturable wasteland. The land that is left uncultivated for more than 5 agriculture year is called culturable wasteland. Why it is called culturable wasteland? कि 5 साल तक लगातार अगर इस जमीन पे खेती नहीं किए तो अब इस पे खेती करना बहुत मुश्किल है, लेकिन नामुमकिन नहीं है. इसको कल्चर किया जा सकता है, मतलब इसको फिर से कल्टीवेशन के लायक, अगर इसको कल्चर करें तो इसको कल्टीवेशन के लायक बनाया जा सकता है. लेकिन 5 साल लगातार अगर किसी ज़मीन पे खेती ना करें, उसे छोड़ दें, तो दैट मीन्स इट विल बिकम अनफिट फॉर कल्टीवेशन. without developing that land for cultivation, we can't cultivate that land. So it is called culturable wasteland. So other uncultivated land further is being subdivided into three parts. One is permanent pasture and grazing land. That means the land that is being utilized for cattle to graze the land, जिसको चारागाह के रूप में यूज करते हैं. लैंड अंडर मिसलेनियस ट्री क्रॉप्स ग्रुप, जैसा बताया कि ट्रेन से जाते हो तो आसपास जो ज़मीन देखते हो जिसको कल्टीवेशन के लिए यूज़ नहीं करते, बट ऐसे ही झाड़ झाड़ी जंगल झाड़ी जो देखते हो आसपास. और कल्चरेबल वेस्टलैंड, द लैंड दैट हैड बीन लेफ्ट अनकल्टिवेटेड फॉर मोर देन 5 years. नाउ फोर्थ, इट इज फैलो लैंड. तो फैलो लैंड ऑल्सो फर्दर कुड बी कैटेगराइज इंटू 2 parts. One is current fallow and other than current fallow. Current fallow and other than current fallow. So current fallow, that means the land which is left without cultivation for 1 year or less than 1 agriculture year. It is called current fallow. मतलब 1 साल किसी जमीन पे खेती नहीं की है, छोड़ दिए, तो उसको current fallow कहेंगे. पड़ती जमीन, मतलब इस साल उस पे खेती नहीं हो रहा है, तो that means वो पड़ती जमीन है. And other than current fallow, that means the land that had been left uncultivated for the past 1 to 5 agriculture year. तो सिंपली यहाँ पे डेफिनेशन याद रखोगे. एक हो गया कल्चरेबल वेस्टलैंड, द लैंड दैट हैड बीन लेफ्ट अनकल्टिवेटेड फॉर मोर देन 5 years, इट इज कॉल्ड कल्चरेबल वेस्टलैंड. अदर देन करंट फैलो, द लैंड विच इज लेफ्ट अनकल्टिवेटेड फॉर द पास्ट 1 to 5 agriculture year is called other than current fallow. Or current fallow, the land which is left without cultivation for 1 or less than 1 agriculture year is called current fallow. Now fifth, it is net sown area. So what do you mean by net sown area? The actual area upon which cultivation is being done. So the fifth is net sown area. तो वन डेफिनेशन अबाउट नेट सोन एरिया एंड वन अबाउट ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया, ये दोनों याद रखोगे. तो व्हाट इज नेट सोन एरिया? द लैंड एरिया अपॉन विच कल्टीवेशन इज बीइंग डन. द लैंड एरिया अपॉन विच कल्टीवेशन इज बीइंग डन इज कॉल्ड नेट सोन एरिया. एंड यहाँ पे देखो, एरिया सोन मोर देन वंस इन एग्रीकल्चर ईयर. एरिया सोन मोर देन वंस इन एन एग्रीकल्चर ईयर plus net sown area is known as gross crop area. तो देखो थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है. net sown area कहने का मतलब, जैसे मान लो ये 1 hectare ऑफ लैंड है. अगर ये 1 hectare ऑफ लैंड है तो net sown area हमारा कितना है? 1 hectare. अब मान लेते हैं इसी 1 hectare लैंड पे हम एक सीजन खेती किए और फिर इसी लैंड पे हम दूसरे सीजन भी खेती करते हैं. तो सपोज इस लैंड पे, इतने लैंड पे हमने 2 सीजन खेती किया, तो हमारा नेट सोन एरिया कितना हुआ? यहाँ भी नेट सोन एरिया हमारा 1 हेक्टेयर ही होगा. बट ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया अगर यहाँ पे निकालेंगे तो ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया इज इक्वल टू 2 हेक्टेयर. ये ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया 2 हेक्टेयर होगा. एक सीजन में 1 हेक्टेयर कर लिए, फिर अगले सीजन, तो दैट मीन्स 1 हेक्टेयर प्लस 1 हेक्टेयर 2 हेक्टेयर. सपोज दैट इसी लैंड पे अगर हम 3 एग्रीकल्चर सीजन खेती करते हैं तो नेट सोन एरिया हमारा कितना होगा? नेट सोन एरिया तो फिक्स है, वही जितने लैंड पे हम खेती करते हैं, कितने पे? 1 हेक्टेयर पे. तो 1 हेक्टेयर विल बी नेट सोन एरिया. बट 3 सीजन खेती कर रहे हैं तो ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया कितना हो गया? तो ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया इज इक्वल टू 3 हेक्टेयर. तो सपोज एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन होमवर्क में करके रखोगे कि सपोज एक लैंड है, ये 2 हेक्टेयर, दिस लैंड इज 2 हेक्टेयर. तो मैथ का सवाल हो गया बट फिर भी करोगे. 2 हेक्टेयर है. सपोज ये 1/4 लैंड पे एक सीजन खेती करते हैं, 1/4 पार्ट पे एक सीजन खेती करते हैं और रेस्ट पार्ट पे 3 सीजन खेती होता है. तो व्हाट विल बी ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया? तो सिंपली अगर यहाँ ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया समझ गए तो आराम से निकाल लोगे, सिंपल। तो इसको ध्यान में रखोगे, ये 1/4 एरिया है और 1/4 एरिया पे एक सीज़न खेती कर रहे हैं और रेस्ट एरिया पे 3 सीज़न खेती कर रहे हैं। तो व्हाट इज़ ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया? सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, आराम से, बट होमवर्क में बना करके बताओगे। तो दिस इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया? इसको याद रखोगे, एरिया सोन मोर देन वंस इन एन एग्रीकल्चर ईयर प्लस नेट सोन एरिया इज नोन एज ग्रॉस क्रॉप एरिया। नाउ लैंड यूज पैटर्न इन इंडिया। तो व्हाट इज लैंड यूज पैटर्न ऑफ इंडिया? तो before discussing land use pattern of India, we should know that land use pattern of any region, any country depends upon several factors. Land use pattern depends upon several factors. So we'll discuss about this land use pattern. But before that, what are the factors that determine land use pattern of a region? So land use pattern of a region depends upon both physical as well as human factor. The uses of land is determined by both physical as well as human factor. So if you will talk about physical factor, it is topography of the land, climate, soil type. तो upon it will depend. Topography जैसे मान लो माउंटेन है, प्लेन है, प्लेचू है। अगर मान लो प्लेन है तो एग्रीकल्चर के लिए ज़्यादा यूटिलाइज करेंगे। क्लाइमेट मान लो अगर एडवर्स क्लाइमेट है तो हैबिटेशन के लिए कम यूज़ करेंगे। फेवरेबल क्लाइमेट है तो हैबिटेशन के लिए ज़्यादा यूज़ किया जाएगा। सॉइल टाइप अच्छा है तो फॉरेस्ट लैंड या एग्रीकल्चर लैंड नेट सोन एरिया के रूप में उसको हम यूज़ करेंगे। तो दैट मीन्स फिजिकल फैक्टर दैट इंक्लूड टॉपोग्राफी। देयर आर सेवरल अदर पॉइंट ऑल्सो, बट कम से कम ये 3 पॉइंट ध्यान में रखोगे। व्हाट आर द फिजिकल फैक्टर्स दैट डिटरमाइन लैंड यूज पैटर्न? व्हाट आर द ह्यूमन फैक्टर्स दैट डिटरमाइन लैंड यूज पैटर्न? तो इफ द क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट आर द फिजिकल फैक्टर्स दैट डिटरमाइन लैंड यूज पैटर्न, you will write topography, climate and soil type, and human factors such as population density, technological capability and culture and tradition. So culture and tradition also determine land use pattern. Suppose that tribal culture is there, तो निश्चित तौर पे वहाँ forest land ज़्यादा होगा। तो what are the factors that determine land use pattern of a region? So you will write in the introduction, the use of land is determined by both physical as well as human factor. Physical factors such as topography, climate, soil type, and human factors such as population density, technological capability, culture and tradition. Now land use pattern of India. So here in this diagram you could see land use pattern of 1960 to 61 is given, and land use pattern of 2014 और 15 is given. If you have old book, किसी बुक में देखोगे 2002-3 का दिया हुआ है, किसी बुक में 4-5 का दिया हुआ है, बट लेटेस्ट अगर देखोगे तो 14-15 तक का, और पता नहीं अभी रिसेंट वाले बुक में शायद और अपडेट किया हो, बट जिस ईयर का भी हो तो कोई एक अकॉर्डिंग टू द ईयर यू कुड मेंशन देयर। तो जिस ईयर का भी हो यू कुड मेंशन अकॉर्डिंग टू द ईयर 2014 एंड 15, अकॉर्डिंग टू द ईयर 2004 and 5. So you will mention their year and whatever data is there related to that particular year you could write. So one of the important question of this chapter, describe land use pattern of India. Simply a straightforward question is being asked here. Describe land use pattern of India. So keep some points in your mind. Number 1, India has to feed largest number of cattle in the world. India has to feed largest number of cattle in the world. Now let's see what is the condition of pasture land. So permanent pasture and grazing land. So if you will see permanent pasture in 1960-61, it was 4.71%, and here you could see 3.3%. Means what? Permanent pasture is declining. So how you will write the point? Although India has to feed largest number of cattle in the world, but the land area under permanent posture is declining. तो सपोज यहाँ डाटा याद नहीं है तो कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, अगर डाटा याद है तो लिख भी सकते हो, नहीं भी लिखोगे तो चलेगा. डाटा याद है तो लिख दो. Declining from 4.71% from 1960-61 to 3.3% in 2014-15. By the way, first point you are writing, first point you will write, India has to feed largest number of cattle in the world, but even though the land under permanent pasture is declining. Now, second point, let's see about forest. Forest was 18.11%, it has increased to 23.3%. So what you will write, although forest area has increased from about 18% to 23%, but even though it is lower than desirable 30% of the available area. So second point you are writing about forest. Third point. So one of the positive feature of land use pattern is that almost half of the area is being utilized for cultivation. 45.5% area is our net sown area. So first point you write about first point you have written about pasture land, second point about forest, third point about net sown area. I am saying for second, third, you could reshuffle the points. It is not necessary that pehle you could reshuffle here. So you could derive several points from your own. I am just giving you hint that how you will make 5 points from if the question will be asked in 5 marks. We describe land use pattern of India. One also important, it is barren and unculturable wasteland. Barren and unculturable wasteland. So if you will see 18.11% to 5.5%. So it is a positive feature of land use pattern. That one positive feature of land use pattern of India is that the barren and unculturable wasteland was 18.11% in 1960-61, but it has declined to 5.5% in 2014-15. यहाँ पे डाटा इस पॉइंट में याद रखोगे, आगे जितने भी पॉइंट मेंशन करेंगे उसमें डाटा मेंशन करोगे. तो 3 पॉइंट पहले मेंशन किए जिसमें डाटा नहीं यूज़ करोगे, दो डाटा कोई भी याद कर लो उसको 2 पॉइंट बना करके यूज़ कर सकते हो. तो दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टेंट एरिया. In the 5th point you could mention area under non-agriculture uses. You could see here the area under non-agriculture uses had increased from 4.95% to 8.7%. And now we know that population is increasing, and with the increase in population we need land for housing, for industries, but also we will have to feed the increased population. So this is a complicated problem about land use pattern, and very complicated decision is there to take that what we should do. Should we increase area under cultivation or should we increase area for non-agriculture purposes? So how it could be done? So this is one of the serious economic problem. So actually what we should do, we can't restrict the land for utilization for non-agriculture purposes, but even though we could increase production from the same piece of land. That means if you will talk about per hectare production, so still we are far behind in per hectare production. So we could increase productivity. So land area under cultivation is decreasing from 46.26% to 45.5%. So land area under cultivation is decreasing, but even though sufficient area we have for cultivation, and we could increase production many-fold by scientific method of cultivation and also by improved technology. If we will compare our per hectare production with other countries, then we will find that much low productivity is there in our country. So we could feed increase population also with the same piece of land. We have sufficient land area under cultivation. We need to increase productivity of our land rather than increasing area under cultivation. Rather than increasing area, land is fixed. We can't stretch land. So what is the remedy? The remedy is we will have to increase productivity of the land. So you could mention all these 5 points if the question is being asked, describe land use pattern of India. Apart from that, some point also you should keep in your mind. Permanent pasture has decreased. We already have discussed about that. Most of other than current fallow land are either of poor quality or the cost of cultivation of such land is very high. The pattern of net sown area vary greatly from, इसको अलग से याद रखोगे, the pattern of net sown area vary greatly from one state to another. It is over 80% of the total area in Punjab. 80% of the total, जैसे अभी पढ़े कि 45% about land area is being cultivated is net sown area, but in Punjab it is about 80%. Haryana, Punjab and Haryana, and less than 10% in Arunachal Pradesh, lowest, and Mizoram, Manipur, Andaman Nicobar Islands. So means in some reason you will find the area under cultivation is about 80% high like Punjab and Haryana, in some area as below than 10%. So why it is so? Could you say me why it is only 10% in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram? Just now we came to know that most of the land area, almost about 86% of the land area in Mizoram is forest land. So actually these are the hilly terrain, and due that it is simply not possible to utilize all those land for cultivation. So we know that plain region plan agriculture activities को support करता है, but in the hilly region, hilly terrain, undulating plain, so that is not supportive for agriculture activities, and this is the reason why in Arunachal Pradesh or Mizoram or Manipur or even in Andaman and Nicobar less than even 10% land is being utilized for cultivation. Now we discussed that it is much below than desirable. Land use pattern में हम लोग डिस्कस किए थे कि forest area has increased up to or from 21 to about from 21 to 23%, but it is much below than desirable 33% of geographical area. That means in 1952 forest policy, actually forest policy of the colonial period need to be changed. So after independence we brought new national forest policy, and according to that, in this new national forest policy it was determined that at least 33% of the land area should be under forest for ecological balance, but it is much below than desirable 33%. So national forest policy of 1952 recommended that 33% of the area of the country be brought under forest cover. Now our next topic, it is land degradation and conservation measures, that we will discuss in the next video. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.